Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I've got a range of products from the American company Rite in the Rain. Rite in the Rain is established in 1916 and their sort of slogan is defying Mother Nature. Basically, they're designed to be weatherproof and paper that can be written in the rain and pens that will work in the rain and all of that kind of stuff. It was established initially by a guy named Jerry Darling, who was asked if there was a better way to record things like lumber and logs and things like that in the inclement Pacific Northwest weather. The brand originates from Tacoma, which is a place just out of Seattle, in Washington State in the US, where the weather is notoriously, shall we say, damp. And this gear is great for that. I was introduced to the brand and they were kind enough to send me out some gear to look at. So I've got it all in here, which is the rain shadow pouch. We're going to talk about a few bits and pieces, show a couple of tests, all that kind of stuff. So as I said, this is the rain shadow pouch, and this retails for $24.95 from Rite in the Rain. As I said, it is an American-based company in Washington State. There are a bunch of retailers all over the world who stock it, including 2 here in Australia, 1 in Brisbane and 1 in Hobart, speaking of inclement weather. So this is, as I said, the rain shadow pouch. This is a waterproof, water-resistant pouch with lovely water-resistant zips, and this really nice TPU material keeps everything nice and sort of sturdy and weatherproof. It's got these belt loops on the back, which also work with that MOLLE system of, where you can like strap things onto the back of a tactical bag or whatever. So this all works with that 1.5-inch belt loops. So it's a really handy pouch. I've been using this stuff for the last sort of couple of weeks to transport to and from work, and with a bit of sort of touring that I've kind of been doing, just to keep everything nice and sort of secure and in place. And I found them to be really practical. And that's, for me, the biggest selling point, is the practicality of a lot of this sort of product. So this is 4.5 by 7 inches by 1.7 inches. So it's a good size to keep a few bits and pieces in. The zip runs from 2/3 of the long bind across the top as well. And on the inside, I've got some of the gear. So I'll take those out. We can have a bit of a look at what exactly this is. So on one side here, we've got a little key loop, and then a pouch, which is a sort of a stretchy mesh sort of material. And then we've got 3 sleeves on the other side, great for pens or maybe a little flashlight or something like that. There's also a lot of sort of open space in the case, which means that things like a phone or a notebook or even other gear from Rite in the Rain can fit very comfortably in here. You can see there is the Rite in the Rain shadow sort of a label in there with the item number. All the item numbers of everything are really clearly on the website, so if there are specific things you like, they're really easy to find. It's also got the Rite in the Rain logo there on the front. It's really durable. It's really strong. Let's just show, I've got here the Soul Built Marksmith, which is the retractable Sharpie marker, which I carry quite a lot. That is a bigger pen, and that fits really comfortably in there. And just looking at a couple of pens from Rite in the Rain, we've got the little pocket plastic bolt pen there, and then the metal portage pen here, which is another pocket pen, and they all fit very comfortably. Slim pens are probably gonna be a bit looser in here, but anything with a clip or anything slightly chunkier is a great fit. In terms of the inner space of it, I'm going to take another of these Rite in the Rain notebooks, which we'll come back to in a bit, and put that down the side there. You can see it fits very comfortably. That is a 3.25 by 4.6 inch notebook, and that disappears there quite comfortably. So bigger notebooks might fit passport size, field note size, those kinds of things. And I really do just generally like the open space in here. As I said, it fits a nice amount of gear quite comfortably. Super practical, and as I said, at $24.95, I think it's a pretty decent price. The next thing I want to talk about today is the notebook kit, which I've got here. This is, once again, 3-edge sort of zipper, opens up. It's got 4 little pen loops there on the back. Put a couple of pens once again in the bolt action pocket pen and the portage pen. Very secure, very comfortable, great length for those pocket pens as well. And then that opens up, and you've got a pouch on one side, and then you've got space for, you know, a notebook or something on the other side. And this notebook comes with the kit. This is how it sort of comes packaged. Obviously, you know, it's out of there now. Nice sort of card, printed card. It's got a lot of good information on it. This is the notebook kit. And it says here, Cordura fabric cover, sewn in the USA, genuine Cordura fabric, tough YKK zipper, 4 instrument pockets on the outside, and pocket for notebook on the inside. And it's got the Rite in the Rain notebook, which comes with it, which is this one here, which is a 3 by 5 inch top spiral bound notebook, which is very good, with 50 sheets of the universal page pattern. And the universal page pattern is this pattern. So it's got like lines with, it's got horizontal lines and then vertical sort of dots, allowing for a bit of sort of freedom of grid or lined writing, which is really, really fabulous. It's got a tough Polydura cover, and sheets are the 20-pound Rite in the Rain paper. So then we've got the Rite in the Rain metal pen, which is this one here, which I really like. It's a simple click pen here. And it writes upside down and through water. Tough all metal body. Ink writes in extreme temperatures. Pressurized cartridge won't dry out, and the ink color is black. So that is what you get in this kit, and that kit retails for $49.85. Now, as you can see, this is a really sort of, you know, once again, adaptable and sort of versatile sort of kit. You've got space for these pens and things on the side here, which is great. But you could also, you know, put a flashlight or, you know, a knife or something like that if you needed to in there as well, or a second notebook. I just have the standard one here, and I've done a little writing test in here, which we'll come back to. I've written 32. It's actually the 20-pound paper there. The other notebooks have 32 pound. We'll come back to that. But yes, this is a really nice, simple piece of gear. My only thing with this is that, like, it's a bit softer, and that's both a blessing and a curse. It's softer so that you can fit it into sort of nice places. It's not sort of bulky in your pocket, but I do want that little bit of extra protection of sort of something a bit harder there if I could get my hands on it. Now, the interesting thing, I'm going to come back to this pen, is that this pen retails on its own for about $20.95. This is a really good quality pen. It's got a powder-coated brass body manufactured in the USA, and it's the all-weather metal pen. And so it's got their pressurized ink cartridge, which is a proprietary ink to them. So the refills for these pens, which are available on the website as well, in either blue, black, or red, are made for Rite in the Rain by Fisher. So the people who are, you know, behind the Fisher Space Pen make the pressurized refill. The pressurized refill is really important for things like writing upside down and all of that kind of stuff. But it is a proprietary ink and formulation for Rite in the Rain for their specific paper. So basically, I'm going to come back to the paper in a bit, but the idea with this paper is that it's a coated paper. So it's wood pulp paper, which is fabulous, which means it's like, unlike other weatherproof paper like stone paper, you know, you're not going to damage anything writing on it. But it is a very coated paper, and that coated, you know, nature of it means that wetter inks and things don't write so well on it. So things like the Fisher Space refill, or this Rite in the Rain, I'll show you the refill while we're here. The Rite in the Rain branded refill there, and it's, you know, it's made by Fisher. It says Fisher there on the top as well. It's, as I said, the ink itself is formulated for Rite in the Rain to perform better on their paper. And I have to say, after writing on this paper with both of, you know, the Fisher Space refill and the Rite in the Rain refill, I find the Rite in the Rain refill does definitely write better on this paper. But that is the basic of the notebook kit. It's a very good little piece of gear. I really like it. It comes in a couple of different color options, all of that. So, and it's well made. Everything is actually really well made and well constructed. I'm really impressed with the quality of the stuff from Rite in the Rain. Also got these staple bound notebooks. So these have rust resistant staples. I think they're nickel plated staples. It's, once again, they're really interesting Rite in the Rain paper. This is the 32-gram paper, the universal rule. I think it also comes in a dot grid. It's got 24 numbered pages in each notebook, and it's a really simple notebook, lots of different color options, all of that kind of stuff. It comes in a pack of 3 for about $9.95, and the paper, this Rite in the Rain paper performs really, really well. I'm going to show a little test on the other paper from that other notebook in just a little bit, but things are well priced, things perform well, lots to like. Now, before we come back to the paper, I'm going to talk about the other 2 pens. As I said, it's quite a lot of gear here. So these are the other 2 pens. As I said, I got 3. This was in the notebook kit, and then I got these 2 as well. So this one here is the all-weather mini bolt action pen. This is very cool. It's very triangular, which is going to be comfortable for some people, not comfortable for others, but I find it okay in this format. This is not a pen you're going to write with for a long period of time. This is a quick note-taking pen, so the size is appropriate for that. You carry it with a notebook, you jot down something, you click it away. It has a little loop there for a lanyard. This shows the how portable they actually want this to kind of be. It's got a nice rugged plastic clip, which is very functional, and then the bolt. Now, the bolt action is good. It's a good fidget toy as well, and this uses that same pressurized cartridge, which is really excellent. This is a really unique little sized pen. I find this very comfortable. So for that quick note taking on the go, the bolt action means it's super convenient. One hand action, all that kind of stuff. Very, very nice piece of gear. This retails for $13.95. It's made of a tough plastic. It's got a no slip grip, as I said, lanyard and clip, all that kind of stuff. It's a really nice, very clean little design, and it comes in a couple of colors as well. Then we get this. This is the metal portage pen. This is cool. So it's got this like wire clip, which you can actually take off by unscrewing the top of the pen if you wanted to. It's an all metal body construction. It's brass. It retails for about $23.95, and you pull that section out of there like a standard sort of pocket pen, like maybe like a Kaweco or something like that, and then you insert it into the cap, and there is your pen body. Now, the balance is interesting. I find that it's, it is heavy in the hand, and there's a lot of weight here in the cap, but it's quite slim. But once again, for that quick note taking, it's absolutely astounding. These refill writes really well. Same refill once again. They all use that same refill. And the form and function is great. It feels very secure. Like the build quality and the tolerances on this are super high. So I'm really, really impressed with it. And once again, there's that item number on there. Everything is well labeled, and I will say everything in this lineup has a very American feel. Super nostalgic American kind of feeling to it, which is obviously what they're going for. And with a company that's been around for over 100 years, that's clear to see why. So the pens from Rite in the Rain are designed to write in the rain. Funny that. That's why they use this particular pressurized cartridge refill with the ink manufactured by Fisher. They're portable in the quality. They're good build quality. They're robust and all that kind of stuff, as is the rest of the gear that is available to go along with them. But I think the main thing that Rite in the Rain is really kind of trying to do here is the paper. That's where they originated, and that's sort of what they are probably best known for. And for that, I'm going to take this notebook out of here just so we get a nice simple vision of it all. I'm going to talk about the paper now. So the paper is designed to be used wet or dry, not just like, damp, but like wet. And I'm going to show some tests of that in a bit. Most pens will write on it okay. So all pencils, the Rite in the Rain pens, things like wax markers or crayons, that kind of stuff will all go wet or dry, which is absolutely fine. If it's dry, the only things that will work, things that will only work when it's dry are things like some standard ballpoints and things like Sharpie markers and that kind of stuff. So you don't want to be writing with them when it's wet. There are certain pens that won't work on it. Things like rollerball, gel pen, highlighters, fountain pens, watercolors, those kinds of things. They're not designed for that. So there's a lot sort of going on. As I said, the paper is wood-based. and it is recycled, but it won't turn, it won't sort of disintegrate when it's wet and things like that. As I said, I've got it in these two different versions. I've got the little staple bound notebook here, which is a 32 pound, and this is the, I'm going to fix that because that's going to bug me. This is the 20 pound paper. I've done a little writing test on here with a range of different pens, just some that will work, some that won't. So the Rite and the Rain pen with their refill. I've then got the Fisher Space pen, which didn't write as well on this. It sort of dragged a bit more than I would like. The Caran d'Ache ballpoint, of course, normal ballpoint when it's dry. Pentel Energel smudges a lot. Pilot Poplol smudges a lot. Fineliner smudges a lot and didn't enjoy this paper. Retro 51 did not enjoy this paper and smudges a lot. Fountain pen, when wet, smudges a lot, but fountain pen will dry on it and it's okay. In fact, all of these will dry and then be okay, but not ideal. Then I've done a 2B pencil and a Sharpie. Now, just in terms of, the performance, everything looks okay. It's a coated paper, so nothing sort of feathers or bleeds. And actually on the back, even the Sharpie doesn't even come through. So this is definitely paper you can use on both sides, which is really good to know, because if you're like me and you carry something like a Sharpie and that's what you have to reach for, this paper will be absolutely fine. You can see, like, when it's dry, it's great, but don't use it with a Sharpie when it's wet as the general rule. I should also have said, on the back of the staple bound book, you get a lot of information, and in the inside cover you get, like, a lot of information as well. But it's also got like a ruler for a few inches and then some centimeters as well. So it's little touches like that that make these things kind of all very nice. The paper comes in multiple formats, different sizes, hardcover notebooks, spiral bound, staple bound, loose leaf, all that kind of stuff. So depending on what you need, there's going to be an option for you as well. I think it's time we look at this with a bit of a test. And so I've got just a little plastic tub of water here, super high tech. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on this. I'm going to put this in the water. I'm going to write on it under the water. I'm going to take it out and then write with it when it's wet, just to show sort of what it can do. So let's see this in action. So I'm going to slip this under the water. Firstly, that writing isn't going anywhere and the paper is, not sort of disintegrating or turning to, like, a mess or anything. I'm going to take the metal portage pen here and I'm going to literally write with it underwater. So it took a while to get going, but once it is, it's writing perfectly fine. And then if we take this out, I'm just going to put it on some paper towel. Writes perfectly fine. Absolutely fine. If we look at this up close now, you can see it's, actually I'll just dab that off. You can see the writing that was on there has remained perfectly clean. The writing, when it's wet, is perfectly clean. And as I said, it took a second to get writing. That may have been just the pen as opposed to under the water, but once it is writing under the water, you can see when submerged in water, it still writes perfectly well. Let's do a little live writing sample, and this is in the staple bound on the 32 pound paper. So this is the Rite in the Rain 32 pound paper, and using the Rite in the Rain refill. So one thing I will say is that you definitely feel your writing on this paper. It's not that it's not smooth, but you do feel the coating. There's like a natural sort of pull on the page, if you will. But these refills are designed to write on it, and they write quite smoothly. The sort of green sort of color of this paper is really interesting, but you can see it writes really, really well. And just for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to write with a couple of other brands of pens. So I've got the Fisher Space pen, obviously, as I said, Fisher provide the refills, but you can feel more drag. It's like it's slightly maybe more viscous ink formulation maybe in the Fisher Space refill, but it still writes very nicely and perfectly fine. And as I said, this paper is dry now, so I can write with my Caran d'Ache 849. And the thing is, it feels good. Like, it's not offensive paper in any way, but you definitely do feel the coating on that, and that coating is what protects it. That coating is what makes using these notebooks possible in the conditions they're designed for. So today we've spoken about a range of products: staple bound notebooks, notebook kits, hard cases, a couple of pens. The range of products is excellent. They've also got some really beautiful leather products on their website, which look absolutely incredible, which I would love to have a look at. I do really like my sort of leather carry gear. Across the board, the build quality of these things is great. All the sewing, all the construction is good. The pen bodies are really well made. I particularly love the all metal pen there. The notebooks are nice. The paper performs well. The paper performs especially well with the pens designed for it. Funny that, isn't it? But yes, the Rite in the Rain ballpoint pens on the Rite in the Rain paper make a really great pair. Yes, weddings are a little less successful. They're always going to be. That's just the way it is. I think the items are priced really well. $24.95, $23.95, $13.95, $20.95. $9.95 for a pack of 3. The notebook kit, including the pen, $49.85. These are well-priced items. Conversion to Australia is a little different, but from the US, these are really well priced, and I think they're competitive, and they're also a unique product. A lot of other waterproof paper is not as A, effective, or B, it's not made of wood. So wood pulp, and that's kind of what I prefer personally over things like stone paper, for instance. There is a super American feel to it all, which is nice. And the nostalgia is very, very clear. Even like just the fact it's a simple staple bound notebook. Yes, there are a lot of brands that do that, but it's got a feel about it, and I quite like that. Down to the choices of fonts and layout and things like that. It's good. And even their branding and their website is filled with it. And actually the website has a lot of really great information, including information about the product guarantee, which is really great. So if you're interested in the line, check out the website, check out what they offer, because it's very, very good. As I said, there's a couple of retailers here in Australia, in Brisbane and in Hobart, but generally speaking, the website is the place to go. So how does this fit into my personal life? Well, I travel a lot, I tour a lot, even going to places like Hobart where the weather necessarily, or Melbourne, you can get caught in the rain, and a number of times the notebooks I've had like in my pocket or in my bag have gotten quite wet. Something like this is a good option for things like that. Also, having something like the rain shadow pouch here, which apart from being sort of waterproof, is it just nice and secure and strong to carry your notebook and a couple of pens. Like, I'll be very comfortable carrying my fountain pens in here. It's well constructed. Fountain pens and a couple of notebooks, something like that, great in that case. Really, really great. So this is how I kind of use them. I want things to be practical and look after the gear that I carry, and these tick a lot of those boxes. But who is this sort of gear particularly aimed at? Well, Rite in the Rain provide to a number of industries, and they supply to a lot of industries, I should say. But people like tradies or outdoorsy people, hikers, campers, obviously people who work in or live in sort of places where the climate is a little bit off or more wet based, like Washington State in the US, or parts of Australia, anywhere like that where the weather can get a bit rough. This is a good choice for you. People who work in the field who are taking notes, whether you're as I said, like a gardener taking notes, or if you're a farmer or whatever the case may be, that's great. And also things like the military is obviously a really big option for this kind of thing, especially with things like the fact that it can fit into sort of more tactical gear and things like that. It's a really good option. This is a very interesting brand. I'm super, super glad I had a chance to look at their products. I hope you found them interesting as a sort of a basic introduction today, and just showing what things are and how they work and all that kind of stuff. I certainly love their products. I think it's really interesting. It's a brand I'm going to continue to look at and continue to use. And there are other products of theirs that I'm super keen to have a look at as well. So firstly, a big thank you to them for sending them out for review. I'm incredibly grateful. I'll link to their website and social media everywhere. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at or a brand that you may think I'd be interested in, please get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your gear, enjoy riding, and I'll talk to you soon.